But today I'm gonna, because I'm showing you guys 3 different methods of hunting for whitetail. What we're gonna do is it's ambush hunting, which you're sitting in one spot, waiting on a deer to walk up on you. Then I'll move into what's called still hunting, where it's kind of a combination of stalking, which is moving through the woods real nice and slow, and then sitting or ambush hunting. So I want to show you all 3 ways today. One of the methods of hunting is stalking. So that's me moving real painstakingly slow through the woods. I've heard people that stalk that do it pretty much all the time. They might move a mile in a day. That's how slow you're going. But right now, this type of situation, you can see the ground. There's a nice little dew on the leaves. So, it's going to be nice and quiet. You could actually move pretty easily along in here. But we're going to do a little slow movement to my stand, which I'll get up in the stand, and that's considered ambush hunting. So the pace I'm moving right now is actually a little bit too fast for a stalk, but I'm trying to get to my stand, but I'm also trying to move nice and slow to see if we can get a shot at something before we get there. But it's quiet, real quiet outside now. That's basically what you want to do. You want to move along just nice and slow, and then stop every so often and just scan. Look all through here, all this area. You want to look around. What you're looking for. You're not looking for an entire deer. You're going to be looking more for like a flicker of a tail or a flicker of an ear. The white of their neck or something like that. Everyone actually look at the entire deer. Now, granted, you might see the entire deer, but the likelihood of you spotting them before they spot you is pretty slim. Not impossible, but you just got to be real slow and be real methodical when you're looking around, because it's like they blend in really, really well. Rocks are slick. I guarantee you this water is cold. It's about 27 degrees when I got out of the truck when we got here. In this situation right here, that way that sun's coming over you, possibly like on top of this little ridge line. And a lot of times if you concentrate on that, you might see a deer silhouetting itself up there. As you can see, most of the leaves are off the trees, so you can see a lot better through the woods. But the only problem is this time of year, deer start to turn. They start turning gray, so they start blending in even more. Their whole color starts to change. Whereas like early in the spring or early in the fall or whatever, they almost have a little more of an orange tint to them, like a really light brown, and that really blends in well when there's when there's a lot of leaves and things on the trees like that. So you gotta be cognizant of what you're looking for, because right now they're not gonna stick out like a sore thumb. They're gonna be very, very gray and blend in with everything around them. I think there's some deer tracks right there. A lot of good movement right there on this creek bed. The first method that we're going to do today is an ambush. I'm going to set in a deer stand, basically a ladder stand. Gets you up off the ground about 16 feet. I've got a blind around it. We'll be able to get up and hide a little bit. You guys see what I'm talking about? Got some camo burlap around it. Makes a little blind up there. Now, I'll say this is my dad's stand. He died 3 or 4 months ago. I'm hoping he, give me send down some good juju from heaven. Always unload your weapon before you start climbing up in a deer stand. You drop your gun. I think if all hit and shoot you, that's the last thing you want to do is kill yourself. Another safety tip: any weapon, bow, whatever you're using, always use a waist rope to pull that sucker up off the ground. here, so. Also want to do my moving now while the leaves are still soft. If you wait till they dry out, you're not gonna sneak up on anything. It'll sound like a herd of elephants going through the woods. Sending my gun down. I had my bag hooked on the rope too. It's easier to get down. And I had the wrong end of the rope, man. Almost dropped that sucker. I mean, like from 15 feet, that would have been bad, but I caught it. All right, let's move up. So what I'm about to do is, this is technically called still hunting. It's a combination of an ambush and a stalk. You're moving on this piece of terrain, you're stopping every, few hundred yards. Stop and sit in a good open spot so you can see, but you move real slow between the spots that you stop. So when you're doing this type of hunting, the best way to be, sun at your back, wind in your face. The ground is still pretty moist, so you can move along nice and quiet-ish. So just things to keep in mind. You never want to have the sun in your face while you're doing this. The reason why I want your sun at the back, you see a deer out in front of you, you're going to see them hopefully before they see you, because they're looking into the sun and you're not. So just keep that in mind. Alright, so this would be a good example of a good piece of terrain to do a stalk or a still hunt on. So if you look on you kind of see what's in front of me. I've got a nice little lane, a long trail I'm walking down. And then there's a thicket on one side, creek on the other. So you got a nice little piece of terrain that deer are obviously going to use. You can't really see it that well, but the little spot on the ground right there had leaves in it, but that right there is an old scrape. A scrape is what a buck does during the rut, their mating season. That they basically put their scent down, letting the does know that they're in the area. And does will come by, see the scrape, and they'll pee in it or do something to, let the buck know that they're in the area. But a lot of times you're going to find them in little open spots like this on this trail. But they love to jump underneath a low-hanging limb, because they'll put that scent down with their foot in the scrape, and then they'll take their horns and, they got glands on top of their head that they'll kind of break their horns in that in branches and stuff. Now, again, leaves the scent, let does know they're in the area. But we're getting close to where I wanted to set up again. Nice little, you'll see when I get there, but it's a nice little rise overlooking the creek bed. Big open, hardwood flat. So let's see if we can get over here and just we'll sit on the ground and just see if something, if we get lucky. As you're getting to where you want to go, the likelihood of a deer being down there could be, you never know. But just want to ease up and just stop and look where you want to be, where you think the deer's going to be. Because sometimes they might actually be there. So just be real slow and methodical with it. The slower the better. Are already starting to dry out. They're still soft, but you can already tell they're starting to get a little crunchy. I'm honestly real surprised I haven't jumped anything yet. Which kind of leads me to believe they're not moving, they're bedded down in the thickets. Which, if you were getting shot at every day, you probably wouldn't be out in the middle of the daylight either. I would prefer really thick areas at night. The only time to get shot at night is when they're being poached, and that's illegal. We don't do that. rustle up leaves into our dough. We'll sit here for a little bit and to see if something slips through. This is one of those mornings where I wish I would have slept in. I'm not seeing anything. I finally did just see a squirrel. So there is something alive in the wood today. It's about when you get late. It's late in the gun season like this, third weekend. I think the rut's pretty well about over. Or if it's not, they're holed up with their does of what these deer do. They realize they're getting shot at during the day, so they go nocturnal and only come out at night to feed. And they get in these thickets and they just stay. I mean, what's the point of coming out, especially if you're a buck and you've got 2 or 3 does hanging out with you? Why would you come out? I wouldn't, But I think what I want to do, I'm going to get up and I'm just going to kind of ease along and see if I can jump something. That is also not a textbook technique, but it is a technique. And to see if I can jump something up and maybe get a shot. So. I think we're just gonna walk along to see if we can get a shot at something. Or I might just head back to the truck and go home. That is an option. I got one more spot I want to walk to. Is up the creek bed ways here. I got a stand out there. I might climb in it, I might not. But the one more spot I want to check out, and then I'll probably call it a morning. There's not a lot going on. I got a lot of chores at the house I've been putting off because of deer season that I haven't done, so gotta keep the missus happy. So when you're out looking for spots for stand placement or something like that, what I try to look for, especially when you're hunting this thicker stuff, is you gotta find some opening. Like something like this would actually not be a bad spot. You gotta see, you got a lane right here, and you could put a stand or a ground bond. I prefer ground bonds, and you can do a lot of moving, but this would be a good spot for a stand. Put you a feeder right in the middle of it. Now granted, you can only use feed or bait where it's legal. It's legal here, but it's only legal on private land, and this being leased land, this is private, so we can put out corn, but hunting over bait just makes it a little bit easier, mainly because they want to eat it. But secondly, during the rut, does are going to come to that bait, and bucks will be chasing does, so that just makes it double easy. Not easy, but easier. I haven't been out here in probably 2 years. It has gotten really grown up. Oh, shit. That rabbit scared the crap out of me. Whew. Well, this is probably a tiny buck. You see that right there? That's called a rub. What happens, a buck comes up to it and takes his horns and just rubs up and down that tree. Again, putting his scent out because he's got those scent glands on top of his head. That one is a teeny tiny one, so you never really can tell, because that could have been a big buck just walking by and hit it real quick with one horn and walked off. But usually the bigger the tree that they rub on, the bigger their spread is, the bigger the horns are. Dead and down everywhere right here. Like I can't even see the trail. This kind of makes me want to not walk through the trail for all of me. Hey, look at that. There's 10 or 15 pine trees right here in this one spot. Oh yeah, this is the old trail. Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy whatever that beetle's doing to all these pine trees. Definitely not going to sneak up on a deer through this crap, I'll tell you that. I was talking about earlier, if you're looking for stand placement, a nice open area. Kind of see how open this is right in here. You could put you a ground bond right here and a feeder, and right in the middle of this thicket. You would probably do pretty good right here, I bet. Yeah, heck of shooting lane right down through there. There's a good rub right here. Yeah. Yeah. This one's old. This one's probably from last year. But see all that? They rub that tree like that with their antlers. And this being a, you know, Coke can size tree, you know, in diameter, that's a nice buck. Another really good example of a good scrape. Now that one's actually pretty fresh. They may be getting back in the route with this cold snap. But you can see that buck probably did that in the last few days. And some of those tips of his hooves, again, underneath the, so he can break his horns in. Yeah, if he's able to get his horns up that high, that's another thing to look at when you find a scrape and that bush is that high above it and he's able to get his horns up in it. That's a big deer. Actually, even better one, but I just spotted it. To give you a frame of reference how big this scrape is. That's my rifle laying next to it. That's a big scrape. Well, made it back to the truck. I also just realized I lost my front license plate. That sucks. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that hunt. As more of an informative hunt than an actual hunt. But be sure and watch a couple of my last videos where I actually do kill a deer. Did not do it on this one, obviously, but hope you found that the information helpful, especially if you're somebody new trying to get into hunting or just trying to get some more tips and tricks. So I'm Jeff Holt, Forest and Fairways. See you next time.